Hello. It's been a while. I don't have any more videos of myself on YouTube except for the one about where I talk crap about YouTube. Um, Also, I don't make videos anymore because a lot of times family is at home and it's awkward to make videos in front of family. But right now, I just wanted to bring up because, like, I've been thinking about it for so long, and I just need to say it out in the public because I'm sure most people can agree with me in some cases for what I'm going to say, but I just need to mention because it's been bothering me, but basically, everyone's had their own unique experience growing up and going to school, and the main focus here is basically school, the experience of school. And honestly, I guess I can also partially blame myself for this and also partially blame my parents, but mainly also blame the school for this. Like, I'm not even talking about one specific school, I'm talking about school in general. Um, and I gotta explain that my parents were very overprotective of me when they first got me, when my mother first had me. And I understand that, honestly. I can't blame anyone for being overprotective when they have their first kid. I understand that. The problem was that they were so overprotective that, in a way, I grew up slow. And some people, they're born slow. And I don't say that as an insult or anything like that. That's just the way I'm explaining it. If that's wrong, the way I'm explaining it, please correct me. But I grew up basically being slow because of my parents being overprotective. Once again, I don't blame them for that. I'm just saying basically how my brain pretty much was, you know, morphed, I guess you could say. Kids, they're easily influenced and they're taught and and they grow from what their parents teach them, from what their parents show them. And that's basically how my brain is slow because of my upbringing, in a sense. And that isn't to say anything bad about my parents. Because, frankly, everyone's parents are flawed, and my parents are flawed. Everyone's flawed. And that's kind of the beginning of how my self started off with what knowledge I had. And kindergarten I thought would be fun when I was a kid. When you're a kid, you don't know any better. You just think that the whole world is literally rainbows and freaking butterflies, whatever that phrase is. And over time, I experienced certain moments in my life at schools, at many schools, where it just felt like the world was against me, that the teachers were against me, that the staff in the school were against me. And that's not even so much of the fact that I got bullied by other kids. And I didn't know how to stand up for myself. Whenever I asked my dad, for help, and I continuously, and let me clarify, this happened in, I believe, elementary school. And it could be elementary, could be middle. Honestly, my memory is terrible, but I'm pretty sure it was elementary. But I remember also telling the teacher, basically every time I ever got bullied, I told one particular teacher because most of the time, for whatever reason, I think it's because those bullies are always in that class. And I unfortunately had that class with those bullies, but I would be telling her that stuff, and she would told me, like, well, you gotta deal with this yourself. You can't keep telling me this over and over again. But I don't know why she said that, because frankly, I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't say her full responsibility, but it's definitely her responsibility to let the principal know, hey, there's an issue going on here, someone's getting bullied. But, she told me that, and here's the thing, my parents had their own upbringing, their own childhood traumas, um, and so many other things that they dealt with as a kid. So with my dad, he said that you have to deal with this on, yourself. You got to deal with this yourself. And I don't really have any ill will towards him saying that, because I understand from what I've heard about him growing up that most likely he was probably told that as a kid from his own father, and it sounded like his parents weren't exactly helpful either, you know. But the main interest is that, like, it starts with parents, and then gradually when you get to school, it really, really gets into school. And however your teachers, however the people who work in the school treat you, really affects how you view the world and how you view people in general. And obviously, there were some good teachers in my life. Unfortunately, there weren't that many, but there were still some good teachers in my life, and I really thank them for being decent and for being actual people and really trying to help students out, even when it seemed like it was really difficult to communicate with students. And I hope that me saying this will encourage someone to also talk about their issues with schools and how they were affected by it. I can't imagine someone hasn't really talked about it. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there with so many videos talking about that stuff. But, you know, just anyone else who didn't really have the courage or who wasn't really sure about talking about this, because honestly, at this point, like, thinking about it right now makes me cry, because if I could explain all these details, and keep in mind, with my slow learning, I'm terrible at describing things. I am terrible at certain subjects. I feel, from my experience, I just felt useless and I felt pathetic. And to this day, it's hard for me to really have any confidence in myself. And I try my best to just do what comforts me, basically. And so I hope that this is sort of encouraging in a way for people to talk about their experiences and to just let schools know that, yes, we, like, obviously, you know, I'm sure some schools have been improving, you know, over time, but right now, so many schools, they need to do better. They need to just, like, I don't know why it's so hard, why it takes so much time for people who work in these schools, teachers mainly, to already have that sense of respect and that sense of decency, that sense of common decency, some common sense. Like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to have that who work in these schools. Like, why does it have to be an overtime thing? Why does it have to take so long for people to realize that you cannot learn, or no, not learn, but you cannot teach students, and you can't really connect with them if you continue to treat them this way. Like, that's just not how it works. And again, I hope this is helpful to somebody. But yeah, it's nice talking again on the video. I might go back to reading storybooks. Again, I'll probably have to read some of the same ones because unfortunately I delete my videos. Personal reasons. But yeah, anyways, I hope everyone's having a nice day, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.